Bacon? Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, the food experience is back. And today it's all about the bacon in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. Man, I've done a lot of trials and tribulations trying different things. First, hold on, it's morning. Need some caffeine. There we go. All right, so I have some regular bacon and some applewood bacon, both of which I got from the butcher counter at my local grocery. It's fairly thick cut bacon, as I'll show you. It's a decent thickness, okay? It's not thin, and it's not like super thick, you know? Right in between. I feel like there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, because if you look at the manual for your caloric, the only thing it says about bacon is cook bacon to perfection with the bacon tray. Important, place the accessory on the baking drip pan. So yeah, it's very important that you use the bacon tray in combination with a drip pan, as I will show you in one of the demonstrations. And it says the wave design keeps bacon up and away from draining grease, which it does. I definitely give it that. Accommodates multiple slices at once. Use the bacon air fry function when cooking bacon. That I don't agree with, because if you go with the default settings of the bacon setting, it doesn't really turn out too well. In fact, it really burns it to a crisp as far as my experience. Maybe if you do that with less cooking time, that would be fine. But to let it go, I think, what is it, 9 minutes? Let's double check that here. Yeah, 9 minutes at 425 degrees. Now, normally I don't cook my bacon that high. Usually I stay around 355 degrees, but I see people with all different results, cooking it at all different temperatures. So I'm guessing you could cook it at a higher temp and just less time. Some people say they flip the bacon. Some people say they rotate the tray around after half the time has gone by. I really don't like to mess with things like that. So I always try to find a good common ground. So that way you could cook your bacon without having to flip it around, flip the slices over, anything like that, you know? So let's try a couple things. So the first thing to do is preheat the oven. I usually do it for 5 minutes with bacon. Some people do it 10. 5 minutes I feel is sufficient. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on air fry mode, and then I'm going to go ahead and set the time 5 minutes longer than what I need for cooking, and I'm going to cook it for 7 minutes. So I'm going to set it for 12 minutes, and I'm going to use 355 degrees. So we're going to try it first in the air frying basket. And I have the drip pan located at the bottom shelf. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 strips, and I'm going to arrange them just like that in the air fryer basket. But we're going to let this continue preheating, then we're going to go ahead and throw it in. Okay, it's at the 7-minute mark, and I can tell one of my pieces of bacon is a little bit thicker than the other. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and bump them up just a little bit so they're not towards the back of the oven. And also, I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the air fryer rack. But I'm not going to push it all the way back. I'm going to leave it a little bit more forward, okay? Because we all know anything towards the back of the oven definitely gets hotter and could possibly lead to burning the bacon or maybe having to rotate the tray halfway. I personally don't like to have to rotate the tray, so I'm just going to let it rip, going at 7 minutes, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay, so here is the critical time. I have like 1 minute left. I'm inspecting the bacon. It looks more than done. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the process. So that's how the bacon came out. It's definitely crunchy and crispy, but it is kind of holding its shape. Let's go back up top and sample it. Okay, let's go ahead and sample the bacon I just cooked. Definitely nice and crispy, but not burnt. There's nothing black on here or anything. It's good. I personally love crisp bacon. Still has a little bit of tenderness inside, although I will say I would have preferred to take it out maybe a minute earlier. Alright, now as per the manufacturer's instructions, we're going to use the bacon tray. I did this part second, I don't know, because I usually use the air fryer basket, but I know a lot of people out there want to use all the accessories that came with their Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. So, we're going to use the bacon tray, and when you do it, you take the drip pan, you put the tray right over it, just like that. Big shout out to all my fine folks in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven group. Man, what a great group of people. So much love and peace and happiness going on. Everyone sharing everything they do, and no one getting into any fights or anything. We all have disagreements. We do things differently, but everyone is cool and cordial to each other. And that's what I believe is important in life. So we're going to go with it just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and lay the bacon across. I'm going to do 3 strips again. Boy, am I going to get all baconed out after this, I tell you. I'm going to do it right in the center of the pan. I kind of like to do it this way, where it's like the thin side here, the thin side here, and the thin side here. I don't know, maybe it's an OCD thing. Hard to say. So also I'm going to use the regular air fry function. And I'm going to set it at 7 minutes, just in case. And 355 degrees. That's really, I find, what the sweet spot is for crisp bacon, the way I like it. But everyone does things different. I see some people doing it at 4 1/4. I mean, to each their own. I guess 4 1/4 would work, but definitely way less time, you know, unless you really want some burnt bacon. So let's go ahead and throw this in. I'm going to use the very lowest position. Okay, it's bake 1 proofing. And let's let her rip. 7 minutes. A little side note, looks like I was in the veggies position. Like I said, it really doesn't matter which position you're in. It's really up to the time and the temperature. The presets are just things that are there that wanted to make things easy for people. But yeah, just a good idea to show you how it doesn't matter. So it's got a minute left, and the piece in the back looks pretty well done. As it gets more forward, it looks less done. We're going to let it go though. There we go. It says it's done. And by looking at it, yeah, I mean, it definitely looks done. It's hard to tell through the window sometimes. I'm going to lay out some more paper towels again. And then take the bacon right out of there and put it right on there. Now, the first piece definitely is not done that much. Second piece, so-so. And the far back piece is a little bit more done, but still, none of them are like the way that I like them. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them back in there, and I will go ahead and put the least cooked slices towards the back, and the one that's a little bit more crisp up front. Close her up. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go for 2 minutes at 355. Okay, she's all done. Let's go ahead and remove them. Gonna go ahead and blot out the grease. Like I said, we switched to air frying for a reason, and that's for grease not to be a part of our lives anymore. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so this time 355 degrees on the bacon tray. And it's not perfectly crispy where it's gonna break, but it definitely has a crispness to it, I will say. But it's definitely still pliable, and it's probably going to be nice and tender. I mean, this looks actually like some good optimal bacon right here for most people. I think most people that like it on, the lesser cooked side or the crisper cooked side, this is like a good trade-off in between, I would say. All right, let's go ahead and sample this bacon. Nice crispy exterior. Definitely really tender inside. This is actually a perfect bacon. The first example I did with the tray, less time would have yielded a result like this. This is good though, really good. I love bacon, but I'm sure you can hear it's crispy when I bite in. Want it just a little bit crispier, I would say add a minute. Want it less well done, take off a minute. Okay, we're going to try one more test before I tow this one out of here. We're going to use the bacon preset, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lay out 3 more strips, and I'm going to put them right in the middle. I definitely washed out the bacon tray before this part, let it dry off a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to definitely try to keep these more towards the front so I could see them better. You could easily fit 6 slices on this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the bacon tray back in there. I still have some grease from last time. I'm going to clean that out afterwards. Let's make sure it doesn't splatter. There we go. Go ahead and shut the doors. And this time, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use the bacon position, 9 minutes, 425. I probably won't let it go the whole 9 minutes because I already know what happens. But here we go, 425 degrees, 9 minutes. Also to note, this time I did not preheat it. It was still a little bit warm from before, but I just went to the settings and hit start, no preheat. So yeah, one thing I do want to note, I could tell the strip that's farthest most back is definitely getting pretty well done. Yeah, it's all pretty well done. I'm going to shut it off now. There's 2 minutes remaining. So that's 7 minutes right there. And let's go ahead and remove the bacon. Now this is super crisp. I could have definitely taken it out a second earlier. But then again, some of it isn't really super crisp, but I'm going to show you what happened. And it's what happens every time I use the bacon setting with the bacon tray. I never tried it at the bottom. I've always done it in the air frying position, and it's even worse. But there's some parts of this bacon that are definitely black. Let me go ahead and blot off some of the grease. So there's a look at the bacon with the bacon mode after cooking it for, 8 minutes I think it was? Anyhow, you could tell that this part of the bacon is nearly burnt. Most of it's okay. It does seem nice and crispy. It definitely seems to be well done. It's still kind of pliable. So it's crispy, but not to the point where it just falls apart, as it did when I used the air fryer basket and I cooked it too long. But one thing about using the air fryer basket in the upper more position of air fry and at 350 degrees or 355 degrees is it got it crispy and without any blackening. Now, one thing I want to show you as a note also, maybe you could see this part right here, there's a black part, and that's where it was right against the pan. I noticed if I use the bacon tray in the air frying position, it has those black marks through and through all along the bacon wherever it touched the actual pan. So this is definitely better. Let's go back up. So as you saw with the bacon setting at 7 minutes, right, 425 degrees, it's still pliable, okay? Some of it's a little bit burnt at the end. We got a little bit of burnt ends. Could always remove those, I guess, but some of the parts along the side are a little burnt. Here's another strip. This side is a little bit burnt. But let's go ahead and give this a try. Got a nice crispness. Still mostly tender on the inside. That's definitely pretty good. I'm pretty impressed actually, because all I know is when I put the bacon tray in the air frying position, it gets way too done at 425 degrees, you know? So again, a big shout out to the person in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer group that said try using the bacon tray at the very bottom position. That was definitely a winner. It definitely worked out pretty good, you know? Now, one more thing I want to point out, and I know this is like Captain Obvious for a lot of people, but nonetheless, thought I would go over it anyway. So when you have your drip pan full of grease, right, don't pour it down your sink. I think a lot of people already know that. It causes the bacteria and a smelly drain. So what I do is I use this Planters peanut can, and I let all the grease go into there. I've had this can for, God, about a year and a half, and it's about halfway full. But definitely let it drip out for the most part, as much as you can. Let the pan cool down, and then go ahead and scrub it with some Dawn and a sponge. Don't use anything abrasive on it, as it will probably lead to the coating coming off. But just wait till it like kind of stops dripping, you know, and that should be good. And I think I've had about enough bacon as I could handle for the day. So maybe I'll come back and I'll try it again at some different temperatures. Maybe I'll try 360 and maybe 380 degrees with the bacon tray in the bottommost position and see how that goes, you know. But one thing I want to say to summarize this is there's really no wrong or right way to do things. Everyone has different preferences. You saw my results using the air fryer basket. Little less time and it would have come out perfect. I just already know that. Probably because of the preheat, which I didn't always do. That's why it probably came out crispier. That's what I'm thinking, you know. Also, one thing I want to touch on, and I'm really grateful for, and it's that people are keeping it respectable and cordial in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven group. It's a great group of people. If you have one of these ovens, I highly recommend joining the group. Everyone shares their recipes and cooking adventures and photos of pictures. I think it's a great place. It's a great hangout for air fryer enthusiasts like myself and you guys too, especially if you own one of these beauties, you know. Overall, I really like the device. As you can see, after I cook bacon, there's definitely some buildup of grease on the door. There definitely is inside the oven. It's way too hot inside the oven for me to deal with, but let's go over the door cleaning real quick, because it's really essential you keep things like this clean. Because what if one day you're going to go from bacon and then all of a sudden you want to make cupcakes or a cake or donuts or something more along the lines of baking some kind of pastry or cake? Very, very important you keep it clean, because otherwise your final products might have a little bit of meat taste to them and smell to them, you know? I ain't gonna lie. I certainly learned that with my previous air fryer oven. So I've been trying to keep this one clean. And inside it's really kind of tough, you know? There's some parts, like the topmost part, that we still don't really have an answer for on how to keep clean. And it was the same thing with my previous air fryer oven, you know? But I've been just using Dawn Power Wash on the inside and on the doors. And, you know, it doesn't really get the inside totally clean. Sometimes I use the scouring side of a sponge. Don't use anything that's really too abrasive, because it will remove the coating that it has on there. So definitely don't use anything metal inside there to clean it with. Also, another thing to note, if you try cleaning around the buttons right there after you touch them with grease, I'll show you what happens, because I see a little grease over the word air. The word oven is completely rubbed off by now. And I don't really see a way around, unless you're like, okay, you're preparing your food, you're taking it out, you wash your hands, and then you touch a button. But if you touch a button anywhere in between where you may have a little bit of grease on your hand, here's what happens. All right, I have the camera all the way zoomed in. It's not going to be as clear this way. But, you know, basically, I got grease right around here. And if, oh, look, see, I just barely rubbed it, even with my finger, which I've already washed my hands. And if you just rub it, it all comes off. Keep an eye on that. Try not to touch it with greasy fingers as much as possible, or you will inevitably rub off the text that goes there. All right, so that pretty much sums it up. I'm sorry that this is such a long video, but I truly believe in being verbose and going over every possible situation. Even though I didn't really cover every angle that I've seen everyone do in the group that I'm in for the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven, I covered a few different possibilities, you know? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a lot more coming up. A lot of it is trials and tribulations. It's just how it is with a new device. I definitely notice a little bit different cooking in this compared to my last oven, which is a Cuisinart TOA 60. This one definitely seems to cook things a little bit quicker, and it's a little bit more aggressive. And just be careful when you're using the higher up racks, because they really cook things to the max. No pun intended. Don't get offended, right? Ha. So anyhow, if you're new to my channel, I would greatly appreciate for you to hit that subscribe button, maybe even give me a like on the video. I have my likes and dislikes turned off because I have a few trolls that just hit dislike no matter what, and they don't even leave a reason why. It's not that it really bothers me too much, but I don't know, maybe I'll turn them back on one day. I'd love your thoughts on that. Also, if you have anything you'd like to see me do in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven, no seafood, please. I don't do seafood. Shoot me a message down below, and I'll definitely reply to you and try to add it to my to-do list. I got quite a few things already lined up in a to-do list, and really happy and excited to see what this product could do. I also have plans of making donuts, cookies, fresh pizza dough, see how all that works out. I got other things in the lineup as well. So stay tuned. Thank you everybody for being a part of my channel. I greatly appreciate you all. And just keep in mind on my videos, not everything is going to be centered around the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. I review snacks. Some of them are spicy snacks, some regular snacks. I review food places. Not so much of that lately since the whole Rona thing, because they don't let us dine in here in California. And I don't really like ordering to go and bringing it home, and by the time it gets home it's cold and it's maybe a different texture. It's not the same way as it was when you got it fresh, so you won't see me as much doing that. Maybe some fast food reviews in my car. Definitely some super spicy stuff, some hot sauces, definitely some spicy peppers once they come back around next season. Definitely, if you like to see me in some pain, go ahead, look up some challenges of mine, like the hot dang bites, or the little nitro gummy bear, or the 16 mil capsaicin crystal candy. You will see me in some dire pain, almost in panic mode, you know? So I like to change it up. Basically what I'm getting at is I like to do different things. That's why it is the food experience. It's to document all my experiences with food. It is not that I am experienced. Like I said, it's about my experiences, hence the name, The Food Experience. I thought that was a clever play on words, you know? So thank you again for tuning in. Have a stellar day. Be excellent to each other. And most of all, remember me, I'm KJ Andy O, your food experience host with the most. Much peace, love, and positivity to everybody out there. Take care, and I'll see you on another video real soon. Laters.